Introduction. In the world of modern dating, confidence and self-respect are magnetic traits and nothing displays those qualities more clearly than strong personal boundaries. High-value women are naturally drawn to men who know who they are, what they want, and what they will not tolerate. Setting clear boundaries isn't about being controlling or distant. It's about demonstrating emotional maturity, self-worth, and a deep understanding of your own value. In this video, we'll uncover 6 powerful boundaries that instantly signal strength, self-respect, and leadership traits that high-value women find incredibly attractive. Whether you're starting fresh or looking to elevate your current relationship standards, these boundaries will help you attract the kind of women who truly respect and admire you. 1. Never chase validation. Seeking validation from others is a habit that slowly robs us of our authenticity, peace, and power. At its core, the need for validation stems from a lack of self-trust and self-worth. When we constantly chase approval, whether from friends, family, colleagues, or society, we place our identity in the hands of others. We start making choices, not based on what aligns with our values or goals, but based on what will win us praise, attention, or acceptance. Over time, this creates a false version of ourselves, someone shaped by external expectations instead of internal convictions. The danger here is subtle yet destructive. We may receive temporary approval, but it never lasts. And so we are left constantly hungry for more, like a thirst that can never be quenched. True self-confidence comes when we stop needing validation and start giving ourselves permission to be exactly who we are. This doesn't mean we reject feedback or become arrogant. Instead, it means we build a solid foundation within a core of self-assurance that isn't shaken by rejection, criticism, or lack of recognition. When we stop chasing validation, we start creating from a place of authenticity. We speak more freely, we act more courageously, and we set boundaries without guilt. People begin to respect us not because we're always agreeable, but because we're unapologetically real. Ironically, the less we seek approval, the more respect we tend to attract, because authenticity is magnetic. Another issue with chasing validation is that it makes us emotionally fragile. Our mood rises and falls based on others' opinions. One compliment can lift us up, but one insult can break us. We become overly sensitive to how we're perceived and constantly compare ourselves to others. This emotional dependency limits growth. In contrast, when you detach from the need for validation, you become emotionally resilient. You learn to validate yourself through your efforts, values, and purpose. You recognize that not everyone will understand or agree with your path, and that's okay. Their opinions don't define your truth. Letting go of validation is a practice, not a one-time decision. It requires you to regularly check in with yourself. Are you doing this for approval or because it aligns with your values? Are you avoiding something out of fear of judgment? Each time you choose integrity over image, you strengthen your inner authority. That's when true growth happens. You become grounded, centered, and self-led. You make peace with not being liked by everyone, because you're more focused on being respected by the right ones and, most importantly, by yourself. In a world driven by likes, follows, and external metrics, choosing not to chase validation is a radical act of freedom. It's a statement that says, I am enough, whether you see me or not. That mindset is the gateway to confidence, clarity, and calm. Live by it, and you won't just gain peace, you'll gain power. 2. Protect your time and energy in a world that constantly demands more of your attention. Protecting your time and energy is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Time is your most valuable asset. Once it's spent, it's gone forever. And your energy is the fuel that determines how effectively you use that time. Without guarding these two precious resources, you risk falling into a cycle of burnout, resentment, and underachievement. To live a focused, intentional, and fulfilling life, you must learn to say no without guilt, establish clear boundaries, and remove distractions that rob you of purpose. One of the first steps to protecting your time is recognizing what truly matters. Many people operate on autopilot, saying yes to every request or invitation because they fear disappointing others or missing out. But every yes to something trivial is a no to something meaningful, whether that's your goals, your health, or your peace of mind. Start by auditing your daily and weekly routines. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Is this aligned with who I want to become? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Your calendar should reflect your values, not someone else's agenda. Energy management is just as critical. Not all tasks or people deserve your full emotional or mental investment. Toxic relationships, drama-filled conversations, or constant digital notifications silently drain your energy reserves. Learn to distance yourself from people who consistently bring negativity into your life. Instead, surround yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and respect your time. Likewise, manage your digital space like you manage your physical space. Declutter it. Unsubscribe from noise, unfollow distractions, and turn off notifications that don't serve you. Boundaries are the invisible fences that protect your time and energy. If you don't set them, others will decide how your life is lived. Communicate your limits clearly and consistently. For instance, if you need focused work hours in the morning, Let your colleagues or family know you're unavailable during that window. If you don't want to engage in emotional dumping every time someone calls, create emotional boundaries. You're not being rude or selfish, you're being responsible for your well-being. Another powerful way to protect your energy is by embracing solitude and rest. Constant busyness is not a badge of honor. It's often a sign of avoidance or misplaced priorities. Taking time to recharge is not lazy, it's strategic. Prioritize sleep, quiet time, and activities that renew your spirit. These moments help you return to your work and relationships with clarity and strength. Ultimately, protecting your time and energy is about self. It's a declaration that your life is valuable, your purpose is important, and your peace is non-negotiable. As you begin to honor your time and energy, you'll notice a shift, greater focus, deeper relationships, less stress, and more joy. You can't pour from an empty cup, so fill yours first, and watch how everything around you transforms. 3:0 Tolerance for disrespect. Development. A zero-tolerance mindset toward disrespect is not about arrogance or ego, it's about self-respect and setting clear standards for how you allow others to treat you. When you tolerate disrespect, even in subtle forms, you send a message to the world that your boundaries are negotiable. Whether it comes from a friend, partner, co-worker, or stranger, allowing someone to dismiss your worth, ignore your voice, or belittle your presence chips away at your self-esteem over chimney. Disrespect is rarely just a one-time mistake. It's often the testing ground for how far someone can push your limits. If you let it slide once, it will return, and usually, in a more aggressive or manipulative form. A person who truly values and respects you will not repeatedly step over your boundaries. Therefore, setting a firm standard that you do not tolerate disrespect is a form of emotional self-defense, one that protects your time, energy, peace, and dignity. Practicing zero tolerance doesn't mean reacting with anger or revenge. It means calmly but assertively standing your ground. It could be as simple as walking away, stating that you don't accept that behavior, or ending the relationship altogether if the behavior persists. What matters is that you consistently reinforce the message that you are not a dumping ground for others' insecurities, cruelty, or manipulation. People will treat you based on the example you set for yourself. If you respect yourself, you raise the bar for everyone around you. If you lower your standards out of fear of being alone, causing conflict, or being perceived as too much, you open the door for emotional erosion and self-betrayal. Many people were raised to be overly agreeable, to not make waves, and to give endless chances. While compassion and understanding are important, they should not come at the expense of your self-worth. There is a clear difference between forgiveness and tolerance for mistreatment. Forgiveness is internal. It frees, too, from resentment. But tolerance is external. It determines what you continue to allow in your life. A zero-tolerance mindset empowers you to recognize red flags early, address them directly, and walk away when necessary. This boundary acts like a shield, allowing only those who honor you to remain in your circle. It protects your mental clarity, emotional stability, and physical well-being. In relationships, at work, and in daily life, people will test your boundaries, not always out of malice, but often out of habit or their own unresolved issues. The moment you accept even mild forms of disrespect, sarcasm that cuts deep, passive-aggressive behavior, constant interruption, dismissiveness, you teach others that you're okay with being treated that way. But when you show zero tolerance for such behavior, you communicate strength without needing to say a word. You become someone who commands respect simply by presence. Ultimately, zero tolerance for disrespect is not about controlling others. It's about controlling your environment, by choosing who gets to be a part of it. For emotional control is non-negotiably. Emotional control is not a luxury, a bonus skill, or something that only the wise or the Stoic pursue. It is non-negotiable if you desire success, respect, and personal peace. In a world that constantly tests your patience, triggers your insecurities, and pushes your emotional buttons, the ability to remain centered is what separates those who lead from those who follow, those who thrive from those who collapse. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending to be unbothered. It means mastering your inner world so that no one else can master it for you. You must be the calm in the storm, the rock when others crumble. Reactivity is a sign of weakness. It gives others power over you. The moment someone can anger you, manipulate you emotionally, or throw you off balance, you've surrendered your control. And once you give that away, you're no longer the author of your actions. You're just reacting to the world like a puppet on strings. This skill is most crucial during conflict, heartbreak, disappointment, rejection, or betrayal. Anyone can appear composed when life is smooth, but real emotional control is forged in discomfort. When someone insults you, do you retaliate impulsively or respond with dignity? When life doesn't go your way, do you collapse into self-pity or pause, reflect, and adjust? These moments define your character and future. Emotional control allows for better decision-making under pressure, clearer communication in relationships, and the ability to maintain your standards without being swayed by temporary feelings in personal relationships, especially romantic ones. Emotional control is what sets a high-value individual apart. Losing your temper, acting out of jealousy, becoming overly needy, or constantly seeking validation is not only unattractive, it communicates a lack of self-respect. You must train yourself to pause, observe your emotions, and respond from a place of clarity. Feel everything, but don't let your emotions dictate your behavior. Think of emotional control as a mental muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. You train it through mindfulness, self-reflection, delayed responses, and being brutally honest with yourself. Every time you choose patience over outburst, discipline over impulse, grace over ego, you're rewiring your brain for mastery. Moreover, in business, leadership, and any form of influence, emotional control is what earns you trust and credibility. If you want people to rely on you, follow you, or respect you, they need to know you're not easily shaken or reactive. Emotional volatility is seen as instability, and no one wants to invest in that, whether emotionally, financially, or professionally. Ultimately, emotional control is not about being cold or robotic, it's about being powerful. It means you lead your emotions. They don't lead you. Without it, your potential remains capped, your relationships unstable, and your confidence artificial. With it, you become unshakable, intentional, and profoundly respected. In a chaotic world, your peace becomes your power, and emotional control is the foundation of that peace. 5. Keep your standards high. Keeping your standards high is one of the most powerful life strategies for achieving fulfillment, self-respect, and long-term success. It's not about being arrogant or unrealistic, it's about honoring your values, knowing your worth, and refusing to settle for less than what aligns with your true potential. In a world that constantly tries to convince you to compromise, whether it's in relationships, friendships, work, or personal goals, high standards act as your internal compass. They remind you not to tolerate behavior that disrespects your time, energy, or boundaries. When you have high standards, you don't chase people, you attract the right ones. You don't beg for opportunities, you create them, or patiently wait for ones that match your vision. High standards aren't about perfection, they are about integrity. They say, I know what I bring to the table, and I won't settle for crumbs. Many people lower their standards out of fear of being alone, fear of missing out, fear of not being liked. But that short-term comfort often leads to long-term regret. When you compromise too often, you lose yourself piece by piece. You start accepting relationships that drain you, jobs that don't challenge you, and environments that keep you small. Raising your standards means demanding more from life and from yourself. It requires discipline and patience. It means walking away from anything that doesn't serve your growth, even when it's difficult. It's not easy, but it's worth it. High standards begin with self-respect. You cannot expect others to treat you better than you treat yourself. That's why it's crucial to build habits of excellence. Keep your word to yourself. Show up on time. Take care of your health. Speak with honesty. Stand up for your needs. This sets the tone for how others interact with you. When you demonstrate self-respect through your actions, people either rise to meet you or fall away, and both outcomes are a blessing. The right people won't be threatened by your standards. They'll be inspired by them. Keeping your standards high also protects your energy. It helps you focus only on what aligns with your purpose. Instead of being scattered in all directions, you become intentional with your time and relationships. You stop tolerating mediocrity because you've trained yourself to recognize what excellence looks and feels like. Over time, this attracts a higher quality of experiences into your life. People notice when you operate with standards. It communicates strength, self-awareness, and conviction, qualities that naturally command respect. 6. Don't tolerate games or inconsistency. One of the most powerful acts of self-respect is refusing to tolerate emotional games or inconsistency from others, whether it's in dating, friendships, or professional relationships. People who play games or act inconsistently are testing your boundaries, your self-worth, and your ability to uphold standards. When you tolerate someone who constantly sends mixed signals, manipulates with silence, disappears and reappears at their convenience, or makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells, you're silently communicating that this behavior is acceptable. Over time, this chips away at your self-esteem and conditions you to settle for confusion over clarity, stress over stability. Mature, high-value individuals, especially women who know what they want, are attracted to men who have clarity, confidence, and emotional discipline. If you allow inconsistency, you show the opposite: a tolerance for chaos, a lack of standards, and often hidden insecurity. Boundaries are not meant to punish others. They are meant to protect your peace. When someone starts acting hot and cold, canceling plans repeatedly, playing mind games, or making you guess where you stand, it's not your job to figure them out. It's your responsibility to step back. If they wanted to be consistent, they would. If they valued your presence, they'd show up with intention, not confusion. Refusing to tolerate games is not about being cold or harsh, it's about honoring your emotional energy. People who truly care about you don't play with your mind or make you question your worth. They communicate, they follow through, and they respect your time. When you draw a line in the sand and walk away from people who can't offer consistency, you instantly raise your value not just in their eyes, but in your own. You become someone who chooses clarity over chaos, and respect over attention. This sends a powerful signal. You are not available for immature dynamics. Inconsistency is often a red flag, not a challenge to solve. It can be a mask for deeper issues: emotional unavailability, lack of interest, or even manipulation. The moment you start rationalizing it, maybe they're just busy. Maybe I'm being too sensitive. You start abandoning your inner wisdom. Instead, trust patterns, not potential. Someone's actions tell you everything you need to know. If they're showing you they're unreliable, believe it. If they disappear when things get serious and return when it's convenient, recognize the cycle and end it.